Fantastic Four is the newest movie directed by Josh Trank. It's about a group of teens who are accidentally given superpowers, and they must learn to harness their new abilities to take down a former friend turned enemy. Josh Trank's last movie was Chronicle, and Chronicle was about a group of teens who are accidentally given superpowers, and they must learn to harness their new abilities to take down a former friend turned enemy. For the sake of this review, I wish I could say Fantastic Four was a piece of shit, or that it was a weird idea that just didn't work out, and laugh at all their mistakes, but I can't, because it was nothing. Fantastic Four is a movie that has no direction, no plot, and no soul. It's the reason why the 2005 Fantastic Four is an infinitely better movie. As goofy as it was, at least things happened in it. Mr. Fantastic stretched under a door, Johnny Storm rides a motorcycle, The Thing finds new love in a disabled woman, and Jessica Alba gets naked. More importantly, they all had their own distinct personalities.
Where are your ears?
This just feels like a bunch of actors who didn't give a fuck. Directed by somebody who didn't give a fuck. This movie has no fucks. I almost don't even want to call it a movie. It barely reaches the criteria for a film. To understand what I'm talking about, let's go back to the beginning. Fox was running out of time to make a new Fantastic Four movie, or else the rights would revert back to Marvel. Josh Trank was brought on as director and stated that this new movie would be a dark and gritty retelling of the Fantastic Four. A realistic story about friends who have to come together and overcome their freakish disabilities. Pretty much everyone immediately agreed that that was a really bad idea. But hey, at least it was something new, right? Now this is where facts seem to get a little murky because it's all hearsay and rumors. But it sounds like the production was a disaster. Apparently Josh Trank would show up late, show up drunk, and not answer his phone calls. But here's something we do know. After shooting the movie, Fox was so displeased with the final product that they ordered millions of dollars for reshoots. This was also around the time that Josh Trank was let go of the new Star Wars spin-off movie. He said he dropped out for personal reasons, but that's obviously a lie. Which leaves us with this confusing mess. The day of its premiere, Josh Trank tweeted this: "A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality, though." He deleted this 20 minutes later. Sounds like he believes that it's all Fox's fault that the movie sucks. Is it possible that there's actually a good movie hiding within all of this garbage? But I didn't see any goddamn evidence for that. I'm going to assume that the first half of the movie is what Josh Trank envisioned, and the second half is the reshoots. I say this because around halfway through the movie, there's a very obvious shift in tone. But in my opinion, the first half sucks too. I don't think I've ever seen such underdeveloped characters before. The only thing we know about Ben Grimm is that he's Reed Richards' friend, and that he has an abusive brother. The only reason that scene was in the movie is just to set up him saying it's clobbering time at the end. What a twist! He said his thing! Instead of busting through a wall and screaming, "It's clobbering time!" he just goes, "It's clobbering time." I think his brother had more character development than him. Sue Storm was even worse. She listens to indie music. That's it. The only reason Johnny is there is because he wrecked a car and his dad said, "You wrecked my car, so get in my science tube. Do you know how to weld?" Do I? So after they build a teleporter to dimension whatever, the government steps in and says, "We're going to send some experienced people through this crazy hell portal." But these teens had none of that shit in mind. Check please. After they got their powers, I think Josh Trank's biggest scene comes up. It's with Mr. Fantastic's arms and legs horrifyingly stretched out over an operating room. Out of context, this scene is pretty cool, but for the Fantastic Four, it's horrible! This is your idea of a realistic and grounded Fantastic Four? A fucking horror movie? It's kinda like if they were making a Spider-Man movie and said, "Let's make this a little more realistic and have Aunt May get violently raped." Oh, it's so dark and gritty. This is about when Fox stepped in and turned this circus into full-on goof mode. We're treated to a 1-year time jump. skipping over what could have been a much more interesting movie about them discovering how to use their powers and using them to do stuff. And then Doom shows up and says he's gonna take over the world. Why? I don't know. I guess just so the movie can have an exciting ending, which it didn't. And that's basically the whole movie. Of course, I wouldn't recommend seeing this movie, but not just because it's bad, because it's a farce. It's literally only made just so they can keep on to those rights. We're being treated as contractual loopholes. This movie only exists so that a whole bunch of executives can keep getting richer. The last thing these guys care about is making a fateful Fantastic Four movie. They just want to keep milking that cash cow, even if it means shooting it in the face. Well, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this review, please give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps us out. See you next time.